If you are in a committed relationship, I want you to stop and think about the last argument you had with your partner. Chances are, it was about money. Here is the hard truth that research confirms. Money is statistically one of the greatest threats to your relationship. Financial issues are consistently ranked among the top 3 causes of divorce, trailing only incompatibility and infidelity. In fact, nearly a quarter, 22% of all dissolutions cite money as the primary factor. But why? Why are financial arguments so uniquely destructive? Scholarly research gives us a chilling answer. Disagreements over money are fundamentally different from conflicts over chores or time. Money arguments are consistently found to be more stressful. They involve higher expressions of anger and depression, and, most critically, they result in significantly lower levels of resolution. You are not just fighting over a dollar amount, you are fighting over security, values, and control. This video will move past simple budgeting tips to uncover the profound psychological roots of financial friction, and then give you a practical framework to turn this chronic stressor into your greatest opportunity for connection and growth. Money triggers such powerful negative emotions because it is intrinsically linked to our most fundamental needs: control, respect, and self-worth. Think about it. Our primal response to financial scarcity is anxiety and stress. When financial security is lacking, it becomes a chronic stressor that dramatically amplifies the adverse emotional consequences of any negative interaction in your relationship. Academic frameworks help us understand this deep connection. Evolutionary psychology tells us money is associated directly with survival and security. Threaten the money, and you activate the deepest fear. But money is also a tool for power. Social exchange theory highlights that money is often used, sometimes unconsciously, as a form of reward or punishment. This creates dangerous power imbalances, leading to feelings of insecurity or inferiority for the disadvantaged partner. We see this dynamic most clearly in scenarios involving income disparity. If one partner earns considerably more, they might feel entitled to dominate financial decision-making. If one is the primary breadwinner while the other manages the household, the higher earner can unintentionally leave the other feeling diminished. For a relationship to truly thrive, partners must recognize and value all contributions equally, from monetary earnings to crucial household labor or emotional support. When one partner uses money to exert undue power, the relationship suffers immensely. Financial health is therefore not just about stability, but about having the resources, time, energy, and mental bandwidth to cope with everyday relationship tension. Economic pressure fuels conflict, and the conflict drains your capacity to solve the economic pressure, a destructive feedback loop. If your money decisions feel irrational, it's because they often are. The way we behave with money is rarely driven by logic. It's driven by money scripts. These are deep-seated, often unconscious beliefs and behavioral rules absorbed during our upbringing, what researchers call learning theory in action. For example, if you grew up hearing your parents constantly say, "We can't afford that," you may have internalized a scarcity mindset regardless of your current income. When two people enter a relationship, they inevitably bring conflicting scripts, leading directly to misunderstandings and tension. Psychological research identifies several common archetypes that clash constantly in relationships. First, the money vigilant. This person believes money must be saved and protected at all costs, often viewing any spending as a threat. Their partner may see them as controlling or excessively frugal. Second, the money status person. For them, self-worth is tied to observable wealth and spending. They might overspend to impress or judge their partner's income, fueling those toxic power plays we discussed earlier. Third, the dangerous money avoidance type. This partner views money as taboo or scary, so they ignore problems, let bills go unpaid, and avoid financial conversations altogether. This passive negligence is functionally similar to active deception, creating distrust and mounting debt. And finally, the money worship type, who believes money is the solution to all problems and the key to happiness. They often prioritize accumulation over emotional connection, leading to emotional distance. Consider the classic spender versus saver dynamic. The vigilant saver sees the spender's behavior as reckless. The status spender sees the saver as controlling or fearful. The arguments are never about the cost of the item. They are about fundamentally conflicting identities. To overcome conflict, you must move from judgment to curiosity. The essential first step is to non-judgmentally ask your partner why they feel the way they do about money. Where did their script originate? Only then can you begin to rewrite the script together. When communication fails and scripts clash, the relationship becomes vulnerable to the ultimate breach of trust. Financial infidelity, defined as concealing or being untruthful about money matters, debt, or spending. This behavior is alarmingly common. A significant 43% of U.S. adults who combine resources confess to committing some act of financial deception. The secrets range from hidden bank accounts, reported by 35% of those polled, to concealing significant credit card debt, 23%. Financial infidelity can be just as devastating as other forms of betrayal, shattering trust and damaging the very fabric of your committed partnership. The root causes are often fear-based. A partner fears judgment, rejection, or losing control. When a spouse fears rejection for a debt or a purchase, secrecy becomes a dangerous refuge. A common structural enabler of this deception is the decision to keep finances entirely separate. While separate accounts may appear to offer independence, they create issues of transparency and equity. If you rarely talk about joint finances, it becomes easy for one partner to feel entitled to make large purchases without consulting the other, justifying the secrecy because the money was technically theirs. This system divides spending power and eliminates the psychological value of partnership. The only antidote is radical transparency. Honesty about joint finances must be the absolute foundation, regardless of who is the higher or lower earner. Betrayal is a symptom that communication has collapsed, reinforcing the need to create a safe space for dialogue before secrecy takes root. The ultimate goal is not perfection, but perceived financial mutuality, sharing the same views regarding financial goals and values. To achieve this, couples must move from reactive fighting to proactive, structured dialogue. The most effective strategy is the money date, a regularly scheduled, structured, non-judgmental discussion session. Scheduling dedicated time monthly, free from distractions, is crucial for lowering emotional stress. You approach the conversation with kindness and the intent to understand, not to judge or respond. Here is the essential 5-step framework for these conversations. The agreement. Schedule a recurring 60-minute, non-distracting meeting. The rule is simple. Non-judgmental tone only. Full transparency. Lay out all the financials, debts, income, credit scores, and financial goals. This builds radical trust and creates a mutual starting point. Shared vision. Define 3 to 5 major shared financial goals, such as retirement or a home down payment. This replaces fighting over spending with working toward a shared future. Division of labor. Assign specific, complementary financial roles based on your strengths and preferences. One partner handles bill pay, the other focuses on investment research. This empowers both partners and reduces power plays. Autonomy funds. Implement discretionary passion funds for individual, non-accountable spending. This 5th step is essential and represents integrated independence. While pooling the majority of funds leads to better relationship quality and security, these separate funds allow each partner to maintain autonomy and self-worth. By eliminating the need to micromanage every purchase, you dramatically reduce resentment and eliminate the temptation for financial secrecy. The golden rule for these funds is: establish clear spending boundaries. And within those boundaries, stop trying to change your partner's habits. Financial harmony is achieved when couples finally recognize that money is just a language for deeper emotional needs. The path to resolution requires a fundamental shift. First, stop fighting the symptom, the dollar amount, and identify the psychological root, your invisible money scripts. Second, commit to radical transparency and shared financial responsibility. And third, implement the structured habit of the money date framework. Finally, for couples where conflict is overwhelming or where past financial betrayal has shattered trust, professional help is available. Because financial conflict is driven by psychological baggage and emotional insecurity, the most effective support is typically financial therapy. A trained financial therapist can provide a safe space to address underlying fears and shame while developing the practical communication strategies necessary to rebuild trust. The differences you have about money are not a flaw in your relationship. They are a profound opportunity for growth and a deeper connection. Don't wait for the next fight. Close this video, open a blank document, and write down 3 questions about your partner's earliest memory of money. Schedule your first money date tonight. Start the conversation that could save and strengthen your relationship. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe so you won't miss more valuable insights about finance.